Hello, it's future me coming back to re-record the intro to this because the first time around was fucking shit and I realized like I don't have to be stuck with it. But anyway, so for June I wanted to read a bunch of sports romances because like they're really popular and I like just didn't understand like what the appeal was, and I also thought they were like kind of dumb. I don't know why I thought that. I'm mostly a contemporary romance and a historical romance girly, and also hi, my name's Grace. You've never met me. You have now. Anyway, I checked out like 20 sports romances from the library. Didn't look at their summary at all, just like checked them out. I picked them up and then I returned like half of them because I read the summary and I was like, ooh, I don't like these. But anyway, the book that I decided to start the month of June with for sports romances was The Baller by V. Keelan. For obvious reasons, I could only read this in my room because look at this. There's no way I was gonna read this in public. But yeah, it was not off to an auspicious start, but I will let past me tell you what my issues were with it. So yeah, and I'm starting with this one because it's the smallest one. Like, it's very short. It's only like 200 and something pages. I've gotten about 19 pages in. It's not bad. It's not bad. I thought it was going to be like a lot worse, especially because it was published in like 2013, but it's not bad so far. It should be noted that we are not off to an auspicious start. This is very not good. I thought it was going to be way better because it has a 4-star rating on Goodreads. I don't know why, but this is very poor quality. I wrote notes so that I wouldn't forget anything. Hold on. This is my journal where I get to be a hater for free. Let's open her up, shall we? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Okay. To start with, our main characters suck. Our female main character, her name is Delilah. She is a sports journalist. Not only does she have no backbone, but she's like obsessed with other women being jealous of her. Like, she thinks she has haters. She thinks she's Beyonce. I don't know, like, she constantly thinks like other women are looking at her and they're like hating on her. I don't know why. Like, she's literally nobody. Our love interest, his name is Brody. He's a creep. Okay, and then we later on, you know, obviously learn that he's not that much of a creep, but he's like a major fucking creep. She goes to interview him the first time they meet, and he like exposes himself to her without consent. Like, he just drops his towel. And they act like it's a funny joke, like it's cute. And I'm like, who is your HR? Someone should report you, because what is going on? What is going on, okay? And then he immediately asks her out. And she's like, no. And then, okay, and their whole entire relationship up until about like what, 100 pages is just him being like, I want to smash. And she's like, no. And he just keeps going, I want to smash. And she's like, no. Because she's not into that casual hookup culture, which good for her. But like, he has like no personality other than being like super horny all of the time. Like, it's literally all that she even mentions, like, if I sleep with you, like, will you stop bringing it up all the time? And he's like, nar, I won't. It's so aggravating. He reminds me of this guy that I used to know that I am no longer friends with, who did the exact same thing. And like, now that I've aged 3 years, I realize that it's actually really cringe. Moving on. Oh, and then after he indecently exposes himself to her in the locker room, they're like immediately horny for each other? It's very odd. I cannot imagine being so like hands on deck for a man with like no boundaries or any sense of propriety. Oh, we know literally nothing about them. Okay, all I know is Delilah's dad used to be a football player, and Brody foots the bill for some lady who's got dementia in a senior's home. That's it, okay? That you proceed to not know anything about them for the rest of the book, okay? In this moment right now, I could not tell you a single fact about them, Okay, a single notable fact about either of these two people. Like, they're not even 2D. They're 1D characters. They're a line. They're like lines on paper, okay? They're not fully fleshed characters. They have no depth to them. And what's worse is they're like not even that entertaining. So what are you serving? What are you serving? And I just don't buy it. I don't buy into their relationship, okay? Because I know nothing about either of them. The author is literally just telling us things that they've got in common, and I'm like, yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. Okay, I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 millisecond. So I don't know how they're gonna end up together, but we'll have to keep chugging along, I guess. Oh yeah, so I did note here that Brody has the charm of a yeast infection. Like, his lack of personality and douchery is so notable that I had to make a note of it. Yeah, and also I wrote down, I don't think I'm straight enough for this book. I don't think I'm hetero enough for this book. This feels like a genre of like millennial straight woman that I just like don't understand. You know, like, I think I've been chronically online for too long, and maybe I'm just a little too Gen Z, but this is like millennial core. It's very cringe and embarrassing. And it's not very good. And then when they do finally get together, like the payoff is real crap, okay? Like 102 pages, and you disappointed me. You have nothing to show for it. Like, you have no shame. Like, the payoff wasn't good. It's probably going to continue to be bad. Like, the smut sucks. Delilah has like no backbone to speak of, which I don't know how that's possible because she's a sports journalist. She's in a male-dominated field. Like, I feel as if having a backbone is kind of a prerequisite for it, because otherwise how are you supposed to survive? For a beginning to this sports romance stack, we're not off to a good start. Don't read this. Okay, I moved on to the second book on my list, Icebreaker. I had high hopes for this. This was really hyped on Book Talk. It's a 2 stars. It's a no from me, dog. Like, it was extremely disappointing. By page 100, I was very unimpressed, and my annotations in the book were very like aggravated. My problem with the book is that the writing style, it's like okay, but my main problem with it is that it's exposition central. It's tell and not show. Like, the author literally just tells us that things happen, but completely like doesn't give us the scene. Like, we don't get to hear the dialogue of what the characters actually said or what they did. Like, they will be in the scene, and she will somehow just forego the dialogue and just tell us what was said instead of just like inserting the dialogue. I hope that's clear. And like, the thing is, she'll do it in moments where our 2 love interests are supposed to be like building a relationship with each other. So it's like, why are you doing this in a scene that's kind of like necessary for the development of this relationship? Because now, like, it just like, it's not believable that they're getting to know each other because I don't get to hear what they actually tell each other. Like, there's this one scene where she comes out of the bathroom and she's talking about how like her social battery like runs out, and then Hannah Grace tells us that she tells Nathan about like her skating tournaments when she was younger, and that's why her battery runs out. But we never actually get to see the dialogue of what she actually said to Nathan, just that she tells him about it. There was over explaining. It was like the author didn't trust her readership to like be able to make the most obvious and only inference that you could make based on the sentences that she had given you. The other thing is, both of our love interests are literally the same person. I forget whose perspective I'm reading from, even though they have the name of the perspective at the beginning of the chapter. Like, I will forget because they sound exactly the same. It's really dull. Like, 100 pages and like nothing happens. Nothing of note happens. And the thing is, even the stuff that does happen is so underwhelming and uninteresting that nothing might as well have happened. And also, like, what was her name? Anastasia. She's portrayed as like a girl's girl, and I'm sure she is. But like the weird stuff at the beginning where she kept sleeping with, what was his name? Ryan? Rothwell? Whatever. She like was overly intimate with him while he was on the verge of becoming exclusive with a girl that he actually liked. And I'm like, that's weird. This is a 2-star for me. I'm not keeping this book. I'm giving it away because I'm never picking it up again. But it was underwhelming and very, very disappointing. Okay, I highly suspect that I'm not going to be getting through all of the sports romances that I checked out this month. But here's where I'm at so far. Just a quick recap of how I feel about these books. Not a sleigh. Awful. Terrible. Would not recommend to anybody. Mediocre. I don't feel it. I feel very indifferent towards this. Better. Still not great. Slay the Boots Down House. Okay, I can't believe the one with the cringiest cover was the one that I ended up enjoying the most thus far. And now I'm gonna tell you what each of my problems were with this. This one was just bad all around. I found the writing to be really poor and underdeveloped. I thought the sentence structures were really like clunky and weird. Like they didn't flow very well. It was very jarring and like took you out of the story. And it was very clear that this was like Lauren Asher's like first book because it definitely reads like someone's first book. The characters are kind of like, especially Noah, he's kind of like a cartoon villain. It's very hard to take him seriously because like regular people don't act like this. And also the way that people talk to each other is not the way that like normal people talk to each other. But I feel like Lauren Asher like didn't know how to tell the story any other way, just because maybe she wasn't as developed as a writer at this point in time. So it just wasn't working for me. Like I wasn't buying into the romance because like Noah is a cartoon villain, not a real life person. Fair Catch, the writing was much better, but it's kind of boring. It's very slow and dull. I think the characters are kind of flat and 2D, which is the same problem I had here, don't get me wrong. I can only really think of like 1 or 2 words to describe like the main characters in this. Yeah, so it was very mediocre. Like it wasn't bad, but I wasn't very impressed with it, and I was expecting a lot more out of this book than what I got out of it. So I would recommend this to like give it a shot if you really want to read a sports romance, but otherwise I'm very just meh about it. Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. This is like the 4th book in the series because that's what they had at the store when I went in. This one I'm also very meh about. I think it is better than Fair Catch. But once again, it's kind of boring. I don't know, like the things that happen, I'm like, wow, this is so underwhelming. It's like nothing has happened. Also, I find Mary to be a little bit cringe. Like her personality is a little bit cringe. I don't feel very strongly about this either way. This one, I didn't think I was gonna like this one because I mean, look at this cover. Look at this cover. So I didn't think I was gonna like this one. But in a surprising turn of events, like it's pretty entertaining. Like the writing is very like snappy, and it keeps you like engaged with the story, and like I like the characters for the most part. The one thing that's actually like a big issue for me in this is that, so basically what is his fucking name? Jack has trust issues because he was like married to this girl or he was dating this girl, I don't remember, but anyway, they broke up, right? And she writes this memoir, this tell-all memoir about him, and she just lies. She lies in all of it. She called him abusive, she called him an alcoholic, she writes that he like beat on her and stuff, but it was like all fake, yada yada yada. I don't like that. I think that's a very harmful narrative to put in your book, because as we all know, the amount of people making false allegations of like domestic abuse or like sexual assault are like almost negligible compared to the amount of like people reporting it where it's actually real. Like, this is a harmful narrative to put in a book. It's not like the entire world is reading this book, but I do think that it's dangerous to have this idea out there when people already have this idea about like domestic abuse survivors. And not only is it dangerous, but like it doesn't make any sense, because if she was lying, he had grounds to sue her for slander and defamation. And he didn't, which makes no sense because she's making very serious allegations against him. So like, and the thing is like nobody even, like the way that it's handled is like nobody even like took it seriously. Like, you would think if someone came out and made such aggressive claims against someone that like the police would get involved and investigate, because they have to, because it's such like a public accusation. Nothing happened. Nobody got involved. He did not get investigated. Like, the longer I think about it, the longer it like makes no sense, okay? And my thing is like, I don't understand like what would be the point in including that in the book. Like, we could have gotten the trust issues the same way, but like without resorting to like domestic abuse. That's an ick for me. Other than that, it's great. It's great. Also, fuck this girl's sister. Fuck her sister. She went behind our main character's... What is our main character's name? Oh my god. What is her name? God, what is her name? I literally was... Elena! Oh my god. I literally was just reading this and I forgot what her name was. Elena's sister, Giselle, cheats on... helps Elena's boyfriend cheat on her with Giselle. Did I say that right? So Elena is dating some dude named Preston, okay? And then Giselle, like, kisses Preston, like, behind her back, and, like, Elena walks in on them. And she very rightfully is fucking pissed at her sister, as she should be. And because she's got a good heart, not me personally, would not relate, she doesn't tell anybody that Giselle's done this. I don't fucking know why. But, like, good for you for being the bigger person. Not me, though. And then, so, like, Giselle goes into the library that Elena works at, and she's talking about how, like, she was jealous of her while she was growing up, because, like, Elena, like, lit up the room whenever she walked in it, and people gravitate towards her. Blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. That is your sister's boyfriend. Have some decorum. And Elena has the nerve to feel sorry for her, which, like... separate time, separate place. You can discuss this at a separate time and place. Right now, you're talking about how your sister is a scheming little witch. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm supposed to feel sorry for Giselle? I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch? I don't. But yeah, otherwise, it's a fun time. It is a fun time. I am rooting for our... what is his name? Jack. I am rooting for Jack in this book. He seems like a good guy, but I so wish we didn't have this false domestic violence allegation written in here for like no fucking reason. In such poor taste. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. We are gonna end off Sports Romance June with some Elle Kennedy. Now, this isn't all of the Elle Kennedy that like I checked out in the library, but it was all I managed to like get through before June ended. So we've got The Deal, we've got The Mistake, and we've got The Risk, which is like her other Briar University series. This was a no. I read The Deal, or at least I attempted to read The Deal once like 2 years ago, and I got about halfway through before I just like quit because I literally like didn't care about what was going on. And then I tried it again, and it was around page 20 where I was like, I can't do this. Because, I don't know, the writing in this one specifically is so off and unpleasant. I don't know what it is, but it makes the book, like, unbearable to me. The Mistake was a slay. I'm obsessed, okay? John Logan, you can have my hand in marriage. Okay. Bonus, the main character has the same name as me, so it was like so easy for me to insert myself into the story. The Risk, this one is also a slay. Like, I'm also enjoying this one, and I mean, who doesn't enjoy a good fake dating plot? The thing I noticed about Elle Kennedy is that she kind of writes like the same story over and over again. It's the same characters, like just a little bit different. The tone of voice isn't even different from book to book. And honestly, who am I to judge her? Who am I to judge her? Because I go on AO3 and I read variations of the same story from my favorite couple. So it's, who am I to critique her, right? And the thing is, like, I ate it up. So why fix what isn't broken? A problem that I do have with Elle Kennedy is that it's her portrayal of like women who are not the love interest, friends of the love interest, or dating any of the hockey players, because they're all depicted as like these vapid, empty-headed, gold-digging, fame-hungry, like harpies, and the complete like disdain that everyone around them treats them is like very jarring, because like, why? You all like enjoy the attention until you decide like you're too high and mighty to enjoy the attention. Like, I don't, it leaves like an icky taste in my mouth, because there's no reason for it. To recap, for everyone who stuck around this long, this one was a no. This one was a heavy no. Heavy no. This one was, I don't even remember, so that should tell you about that. Throttled by Lorna Asher, you would literally have to hold me hostage to get me to read this book again. Like, that's how severely I dislike this book. Like, it's a hell no. It's a hell no. This one was a slay, not My Romeo. This was a slay. Hail Mary is like a mid-slay. Like, it's not fantastic, and it's not bad. It's definitely better than some of the other ones I read, so I feel it's worth giving a shot on the off chance that you might enjoy it, but I don't feel very strongly about it either way. Fair Catch, same thing as Hail Mary. It's a very like mid-slay. The Deal, as I said, no. Thank you so much. The Mistake, yes. It's a yes. It's a hell yes. The Risk is a yes. It's a slay for me. Hi, it's editing me again because I'm so good at this already. I forgot to ask, if you enjoy sports romances, let me know which ones you enjoy. And if you hate them, let me know why and which ones you hate, because I love being a hater. And any other thoughts and feelings that you have about sports romances. And I will let myself finish this off. And that's everything that I read for Sports Romance June. I don't have a sign off. So until next time.